You're in terrible danger. People keep disappearing around here, and they're coming for you next. You can make it, but you have to go now.
What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. What is going on? Today is Friday. It is May 24th. This is Memorial Day weekend. It is the beginning of summer as we know it. At least that's the way a lot of people look at it. So this is Getaway Friday, everybody. Are you on the road? Are you driving to a destination location? Are you headed to a family vacation? Well, actually, if you really are going on a vacation, this is a great time to do it, right? You got your Quest, so you can take your Quest on vacation with you. Like, how perfect is that? How awesome is that? I remember when we thought that the Quest was going to come out a while back, I was getting ready to go on a vacation, and I thought, maybe I will take the Quest with me. Of course, it got delayed. I took the Go with me, and it was probably the last time I'm really going to use the Go in that sort of way and really appreciate the Go. The Go is not too bad. The Go is not too bad, but we quickly forget about the Oculus Go, especially now that the Oculus Quest is here. But yeah, it's Friday. It's the weekend. Hip, hip, hooray, man. Hip, hip, hooray. Because we are going to have 3 days off. Well, a lot of us will, thanks to Memorial Day, which just means we get more time to play with our Oculus Quests, to play with our Rift S's, or maybe we don't have an Oculus Quest. Maybe we don't have a Rift S. Maybe we didn't buy new hardware this week, but there are new games. There are new games that are trickling out. There's experiences that are trickling out. Stuff like Bonfire, stuff like 1111. There's also a number of sales that are going on. And in PlayStation VR world, they really love Everybody's Golf VR. And Space Junkies, the update that added support for the Move controllers, a lot of people are saying they did a really good job with that. And Space Junkies actually works very good on PlayStation VR. So a lot of good things are going on in the VR gaming world. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to thank our sponsor. Today's episode was made possible by, let's see here, we do have a Patreon supporter that I need to thank. So let me go ahead and pop this on the board. Yeah, today's episode was made possible by Sergio Landera Garcia. Thank you so much, Sergio. Sergio joined the Patreon a little while back. I'm kind of slow to thanking a lot of the Patreon supporters, but eventually I will get to everybody. Absolutely no question about it. Also, Sergio Garcia, look at that, not only supported the Patreon, but also recently made a PayPal donation as well. So double dippage for Sergio Landera Garcia. Appreciate it so much. I got to tell you, the support is incredible. I truly do appreciate it. It is next level. The Oculus Quest that I have was basically bought by my Patreon supporters, my PayPal donators, my not HP Reverb. I'm probably going to look for a Rift S this weekend. If I can drive down to Best Buy and pick up a Rift S this weekend, I'm probably going to go ahead and do that. And that's also probably been covered by my Patreon and PayPal supporters. So, that's incredible to be able to possibly get hardware like this. These guys are the only support. This is the only way I get support. This channel is not monetized. I've never received a dime from YouTube. There's no super chats. There's no monetization. You guys may have noticed that there aren't commercials. You don't see annoying commercials on these episodes. The only reason you'll ever see an annoying commercial on this episode is because of some song that I played in a trailer, and then some outside company is like, oh, that's my song, thank you very much, I'm monetizing that episode, and then you've got commercials all over the episode. But normally there's no commercials. So that's kind of one of the upsides of not being monetized, you guys don't have to deal with commercials. And that's kind of a bonus because I do listen to various YouTube shows while I'm at work. I don't get to watch them, but I hear the audio. And you're listening to an episode and you're really getting into the episode and it's just starting to get good. They're about to get to a really good topic. And then bam, a commercial hits you and you're like, man, I don't feel, and then you got to go grab your phone and skip ad, blah, 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 blah. So no monetization over here. That's why we depend so much on our Patreon supporters and our PayPal supporters. But you know what? Speaking of support, there actually is one other thing I need to mention here. Let me show you. And oh my God, this was such a just a terrible decision on my part that I forgot to do this for all this time. I mean, weeks and weeks and weeks I could have been pimping this, and I wasn't pimping this. And what a unmitigated disaster for me to not pimp this. Just recently. I mean, this is the only time I've done this. Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys here, let's go to the Webby browser, bounce over here. So this is yesterday's show, Quest Better Than I Thought, episode 188. And one thing I'll mention, guys, if you click on the show more, show less, talk less, say less, my kids love to do that. Do you have teenagers? Do your teenagers ever say less? Which basically means shut the F up. It's a polite way of your millennial or whatever, Gen Z, I don't know, Gen ZDB, whatever they're calling it nowadays, say less. Have you ever heard that? Like, that is really an asshole way. Like, say less. Like, how did that become popular? Okay, but you see right here, it says show more. You click on this, and what I did was I added some links for Amazon. So if you're interested, I mean, who out there hasn't already ordered this? But maybe there's one or two people on the planet that all of a sudden decided they're going to order a Rift S from Amazon, or they're going to order a Quest from Amazon, or the Mantis headphones, which apparently work really good with the Rift S, or the official travel case for the Oculus Quest. All of these links right here. Now, if you click on one of these links, what happens is VR 365, VR Game Rankings, we get a small kickback if you buy something. When you click on this link, if you end up buying something, we get a small little kickback. Now, here's the thing, though. This only works in the USA. So if you're in Canada, if you're in Europe, this doesn't work. So you're not supporting VR 365. Don't worry about it. But if you happen to be in the US, if you happen to be in the US and you're like, you know what, God damn it, I need some headphones really bad. So what you do is click on this Mantis headphones thing and it'll take you to this link. It looks like the price went up because I know these were like $30-something a little while ago. But these Bionic BNK 9007 Mantis headphones for PlayStation VR, this is kind of like the bare bones version of them. But if it's cheaper because I think the other version's like $70-something. But a lot of people say that these work absolutely beautifully with the Rift S. So if you're looking for headphones for the Rift S, that's a possibility. But yeah, God damn it, I should have been pimping this for weeks. I could have I could have had some good kickback revenue coming in, and I completely dropped the ball on that. I just was not paying attention to that, and I forgot about it. Oh my God, what an utter disaster. Because think of how many people that regularly watch this show ordered from Amazon. You guys ordered a Quest or a Rift S, and you live in the USA. I could have got a kickback. I mean, it doesn't hurt you at all. If you're ordering, don't do this just to help me. But if you were going to buy from Amazon anyway, then might as well, right? Might as well support VR 365. If you're buying from Amazon anyway and you live in the USA, you might as well, might as well help me out, because I'll tell you what, every little dollar that comes my way goes straight to hookers and blow. But if I get a few more dollars, I'm just kidding. There's no hookers and there's no blow. All there are is headsets, headphones, freaking display port adapters, monitors, green screen equipment. That is the type of stuff that I'm using your guys' money for, not hookers, not blow. But I do appreciate all the support. But yeah, so many people, man, are like not in the USA, or, you know, you're in Canada or something, so that doesn't work. I can't, unfortunately, I don't know why Amazon does that. It's kind of lame. Okay, so you know what? There was a topic or a question that Scion VR posed. I think this was a couple of days ago, and I don't remember exactly where I read it. I don't know if it was a comment to this YouTube show, or if it was on our Discord server. Also, we do have a Discord server, by the way, and there is an invite, and everybody is invited. You can come right in and join our Discord server, and it's actually a pretty cool community that has developed. Like, we've got a legitimately cool community of people that are pretty much cool type people. You know, we don't really get into major conflicts and arguments, and everybody's pretty much like chill and relaxed, and they're helpful. You know, people will tell you about different sales, or they'll try to solve different problems that you're having. I had some major computer problems a while back, and a lot of people on the Discord server, I went into a straight up panic when I was building my new computer, and I didn't realize all I had to do was push the thing down even harder, and I thought for sure I was just going to break everything, and I had so many people on Discord that were helping me out. It was so awesome. So we've got a pretty decent little community going on, so hop over to the Discord server if you haven't done so already. But Scion VR had a very interesting question, and I want to talk about that question right now. And so basically, Scion VR, and I think this is Scion VR. I'm not even absolutely positive it was Scion VR. It might have been someone else, but I'm about 98% that it was Scion. But what he was saying, okay, so Scion is what we call an unquestable. That's the Quest haters out there. There are lots of Oculus Quest haters, and it's a bad time to be a Quest hater because it's all Quest all the time. This is not VR 365. This is Oculus Quest 365. You know, Oculus Quest, news and discussion, 365 days a year. But we have a number of PC VR gamers that are like, oh my God, stop it already with this goddamn Oculus Quest stuff. I'm sick of this Oculus Quest stuff. And Scion VR, he had a good question though. It was out of pure hate for the Quest, but it was still a good question that he posed. So basically what Scion VR was talking about was, wait a minute. He was like, wait a minute here. We've got a problem with all of this Oculus Quest success. It's too successful. And here's the problem with it being too successful. When you go to Reddit and you look at everybody talking about everything, they're talking about, is this game going to come to the Quest? Is that game going to come to the Quest? I mean, if a developer, like if a VR developer got a nickel for every time they've been asked if blah, blah, blah game is coming to the Quest, these fools would be rich. They wouldn't even need to make another game. They're constantly being asked, are you going to make a Quest version of this? Are you going to make a Quest version of that? And Scion VR is saying this is an unmitigated disaster for somebody like him, an unquestable. He's simply an unquestable. You can't get him into a quest. He's untouchable. He's an unquestable. But he's saying this is an unmitigated disaster because not only are YouTubers like me yapping away about the Quest, which he doesn't give a rat's ass about, not only that, but all of these developers are distracted. They're distracted, and now they're working on Quest games. It's like adding insult to injury. And I feel for you guys. I really do. Because I'm the type of person, I can put myself into different people's shoes. I can play devil's advocate. Like, I could pretend that I hate the Quest right now. I could go into, I hate Quest. Quest is freaking killing VR. You know, I mean, I could go into that mode if I wanted to. I can place myself in their shoes. Because I'm a PC VR gamer. And what Scion VR is talking about is legit. It's a legit concern when every developer and their mama's uncle is like, damn, we got to make a Quest game. A lot of these developers, maybe they've got like 9 people on their team, 7 people, 6 people on their team, and now they're taking 3 of them and they're saying, okay, you 3 guys, we need you to prototype whether or not we can get this engine onto the Quest. So now all of a sudden, a 9-man team is a 6-man team. And that's the way Scion VR is looking at it, because he doesn't care. He doesn't want a Quest. He has no interest in Quest. You can't pay him to have a Quest. He doesn't want it. Keep your Snapdragons to yourselves. That's his, and it's like, dude, I want more PC VR games. And now all the best PC VR developers are distracted. They're confused. They're dividing their teams in half. It is all bad. You know, it is not all gizzies in the hizzies. It's all busies in the whizzies, because it is not a good situation. That's from his angle. And I'm curious, I know we've got other Quest haters in chat right now. In fact, Jason Westmus is a bit of a unquestable, right? Jason Westmus, would you put yourself in the unquestable category? So basically anybody that is anti-Quest and you're like, God damn, I can't wait till this honeymoon is over. Will Anthony ever return from this Quest? Dude, it's the 3rd day of Questmas. So we're not done. We are not done. And they want it over with, man. And so I'm curious, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that this is just an unmitigated disaster? Now, Matthew Lake, though, just brought up an interesting point in chat. Matthew Lake says it's better long-term play to focus on Quest as much as I thought he was going in a different direction. He's basically agreeing with all these developers. Look, it's just a better long-term play to focus on the Quest. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. As much as I love PC VR, it's better to focus on the Quest. Now, James McLaughlin says pretty soon it'll be beefed up versions of... Oh, this is the other downer. This is the other downer. Thank you so much, James McLaughlin. We need all the downers. We need all the downers right now. Let's wallow. Let's just marinate in the downers for how the Quest is killing PC VR. Like, the Quest is just stabbing PC VR repeatedly right now. But what James McLaughlin is saying, dude, not only are what you talking about is true, but he's also saying pretty soon a lot of PC VR games are actually going to be freaking Quest ports. Like, we've already seen it, right? We've already seen it with Shadowpoint. Journey of the Gods is going to be a Quest port. Vader Immortal is going to be a Quest port. I'm not sure if Dance Central is going to be a Quest port, but you gotta think about it. Flat Questers, I kind of like that, like flat earthers, flat Questers. But the thing about it is that's actually true. There are some downsides. There really are. Like, if the Quest is just a runaway success, it is going to kind of shit all over PC VR players in a number of various ways. Like, it really is. It's gonna split teams in half. It's going to distract developers, and we're going to be playing a lot of Questicle ports that are going to be ported up. Now we need a new name for Quest ports that are shat onto the PC, which is maybe a tiny bit of better textures, maybe a little bit of a better frame rate, maybe a few extra enemies. Oh, here's good news, though. Bullet Ape is coming through with the positive spin. And he's saying, okay, yeah, that's all horrible, right? That is all horrible, but guess what? At least these ports are going to run butter smooth at 144 hertz. And that's true. They are going to run butter smooth at 144 hertz. I bet you Shadowpoint probably is going to run super silky smooth at 144 hertz on everybody's Valve Index. So maybe don't play Shadowpoint right now. Wait for Vader Immortal and Journey of the Gods. You're going to be able to run all those Quest ports at 144 hertz. Now, Kevin says, wait a minute here. The Quest has to sell ridiculously well for all of this to be true. Zayla Maru, we are the Quest. Lower your resolution and prepare to be assimilated. Resistance is futile. That's a good one. Lower your resolutions. Lower your expectations. Yeah, lower your resolutions and expectations. Prepare to be assimilated into a blurry environment with half the number of normal enemies. Because, yeah, man. And I'm a PC VR player as well. Like, I'm laughing about all of this, but there's tears that I'm hiding. I'm hiding tears because I have some tears. Because, dude, I mean, at the end of the day, I am going to get over this honeymoon period. And I'm going to, like, my Quest, there's going to be a day where I set my Quest down and I don't pick it up again for like 2 weeks. That day's going to happen. Like it happens occasionally to my PlayStation VR. Let's talk about Redheaded Stepchildren for a second here. We all, like those of you that have multiple consoles, I mean, you got multiple headsets, you might have a Go, you might have PSVR, you might have a Rift S, and so you're bouncing back and forth from all these different headsets, but you know that a few of them get just kicked to the curb. Like some of you have a PlayStation VR, you probably haven't fired the thing up in 3 months. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys know that that's out there. Like, I haven't used, when's the last time I used my PlayStation VR? Oh, I know. The last time I used my PlayStation VR was the day that Everybody's Golf demo was available. That's the last time I fired it up. And the next time I'm going to fire it up is Tuesday when Blood and Truth comes out. So my PlayStation VR is sitting over there and it's like, bro, when are you ever going to play me? You know, it's depressed, it's dusty, it's collecting dust. We all have that. I mean, most of us have that. Like my Go is sitting in its bag. It hasn't been used since I went to Bodega Bay. So we're all in these situations. And the Quest, there's going to be a day, maybe in about 3 weeks. Apologies to all you unquestables. But there's going to be a day in a couple of weeks where I set my Quest down and I don't pick it up again for 2 weeks. And the battery's going to be completely dead. And, you know, I'm going to be playing Stormland or Asgard's Wrath or whatever. Or I'm playing Zed. And I'm playing... what's the game? Triton Down. What is it called? The underwater game. Free Diver, Triton Down, which is coming up very soon. Or I'm going to be playing Zed. Or I'm going to be playing Trover Saves the Universe. And I'm not going to be playing Quest. And the Quest is going to be set down. And so it's weird. It's weird how we treat some of our family members like they don't belong with our family, like they were adopted, you know, and then other family members, we love and we cherish them. And so right now, the Quest is like a new puppy. It's like, have you ever like got a new puppy and then your existing dog is like, oh, hell no. You're going to bring a new puppy up in here? Your existing dog wants to freaking eat the puppy. You know how it's, or even a baby. Like this happens with human babies. You know, a human baby comes into the mix, right? And then your other kids that are like 2 years old and 3 years old, they are kicked to the curb, man. It's like your 3-year-old is running up to you, Daddy, I just did this. I don't give a damn. I got a baby right here. Don't you see this? I got a friggin' baby, bro. This is a baby. This is a brand new human unit that hasn't been spoiled yet. This baby hasn't been ruined. You've already been ruined. Go play with a Barbie doll and talk to me later. I mean, we know what it's like. And it's going to happen to all of these headsets. It's even going to happen to the Valve Index. Like the Valve Index reigns supreme. Like for me right now, the Valve Index is on a pedestal, baby. Like I truly believe that the Valve Index is the chosen one I don't know if it's really going to happen, and I've got to wait all the way till damn near August 1st, and that is painful with a capital P. That's why I need your PayPal donations, ladies and gentlemen, so I can jump on eBay and pay $3,000 for somebody's Valve Index. No, I would never do that. Hell no. I'm never going to reward no scalper like that. Don't do that, please. I know there's someone right now in Australia that might be watching this show, or there might be somebody in Switzerland that is watching this show right now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't buy that Valve Index for 3,000 francs or whatever it is that you use in Switzerland. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Do not reward these scum, the scalpers. Don't do it. So I know I'm kind of all over the place, but yeah, it's Scion VR. Where are you, Scion? Very interesting question, and it's an interesting thing. Like this is an entire show. We could do an entire show on how the Quest is going to ruin everything that we've held up to a standard. Everything that we know and love is going to be ruined by the Quest. But we're having so much fun playing our Quests, aren't we? And actually, speaking of Quest, okay, unfortunately, I only played 2 Quest things yesterday. I didn't get as much time with the Quest as I thought I was going to get, and I didn't play the stuff that you probably thought I was going to play. So let me put the trailer on for what I actually played. Let's talk some Quest talk, guys. Yeah, this is Questicle 365. Welcome to Questicle 365. Questicle news and discussion for 365 days a year. Okay, this is BOGO, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check this out. BOGO. BOGO. Aw, he's so cute. He's so cute. You know what? I never scratched BOGO on the bottom side, and I never rubbed his belly. Aw, man, I gotta get back into BOGO. Okay, so BOGO, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I was talking about BOGO about a week or so ago, and I was like, dude, what's up with this BOGO thing? Because we didn't have no trailers for BOGO, we didn't have a screenshot for BOGO, we didn't have a logo for BOGO, we had nothing like a week ago, and I was like, dude, BOGO was developed by Oculus Studios. Yeah, I never rubbed his belly. He never laid on the ground like that for me. I feel like I got boned out of this deal. Okay, but BOGO, we didn't have information on BOGO, and we were like a couple of days from launch. And I'm like, dude, the Oculus Quest launches in like 3 days, and we don't know nothing about BOGO. And then finally, Nathan did a video on BOGO, and that was like the first thing that anybody got. And I was wondering what this was because I was like, well, Oculus Studios. And I remember Hugo Barra up on stage running around talking about BOGO. This was like Oculus Connect 5 last year, talking about, this virtual pet, and you're going to have a relationship with this pet, and lots of interesting things are going to happen with this pet. And so I thought it was going to be pretty cool. Now, it is free. It's very, very short. But I went into BOGO yesterday, and BOGO's fun. BOGO is not bad. I mean, it's not much of anything. It's very, it doesn't last very long. But do you guys see that orange area, like where all these tiles are, like where that person and where BOGO is sitting on? See that orange area? So one of the beautiful things about BOGO is if you've got a really big room scale space, this orange area that BOGO is standing on and the person is on, that orange area, it's a square. It basically is your play space. It's your play space. And so if you've got a really big one, you've got a really big area here. And I was playing this yesterday, and I could walk all around. I was walking all around, taking several steps, walking over there, taking several steps, walking over to the tree and grabbing an apple. I was taking a lot of steps, and I really liked it. The other beautiful thing about it, too, is the Guardian. Remember yesterday I was talking about the Guardian, and I was saying the Guardian kept activating all the time when I didn't want it to activate. And so I went over to the wall I went over to the wall while I was in BOGO, and the Guardian didn't come up until the last second. So I almost never saw the Guardian, and I had this really big play space. So who would have ever imagined that BOGO would be like the most room scale thing we've got on the Oculus Quest right at the very beginning? And so what do you do in this game? You know, you're rubbing BOGO's head, you feed him a couple of apples, you play fetch, you do some other things, you make a little donut for, well, spoilers, I probably shouldn't have spoiled that. But basically you're just doing these different things, and BOGO is like this alien creature, and I guess you're like on BOGO's planet, and then as you do certain things, like you know, things start rising up out of the ground, like temples and stuff starts popping up. And then also there's a couple of little mini games that you get to play where, like, as you're going through this, like there's this little mini game where there's a cannon that shoots these things out, and you're like tapping these things up, and you're trying to get stars. It's almost like Angry Birds. Like you can get 1 star, 2 stars, or 3 stars. And so there's a couple of little mini games you can play. So I did all the mini games. I got 3 stars on the mini games. You know, I did them over and over again to make sure that I got 3 stars on it. But bottom line, BOGO's pretty fun. Nothing special, but it's free and everybody should enjoy it. And someone in chat, like VR Legion, says my 8-year-old daughter loves BOGO. So cute. Yeah, that's awesome. Dear Sophie says BOGO is a no-go. What do you mean? Like, did you try it and it was just lame, or you're just not even going to mess with it? Are you too cool for school, dear Sophie? Because you know how there's these adults. There are adults out there that would be like, you know, you say, oh yeah, we're going to go to the Lion King. We're going to go see Disney's new Lion King. And there's always that one adult that's like, wait a minute, isn't that an animated thing? Oh, hell no, I'm an adult. I don't go to animated things. You know, there's always that one adult. Don't tell me you're that one adult, dear Sophie. Because BOGO is legit, baby. You want to play BOGO. BOGO's cool. It's decent. It's fun. I probably spent way too much time talking about BOGO, though. It probably doesn't deserve all of this. Okay, so there was one other Oculus Questicle game that I did try yesterday. And that game is Drop Dead Dual Strike Edition. Let's check a little bit of this trailer out just for a second.
Here, I've updated this one with all the latest software.
Strap on your headset and face the horde.
Such a shame you couldn't save humanity.
Don't you better.
Okay, so yeah, this is Drop Dead. And Drop Dead has been on basically every VR platform that I know of. Although, I don't think it's on PlayStation VR. And that is really weird. Now, Drop Dead works great on the Oculus Rift, and it works great on the Oculus Go. In fact, Drop Dead was one of my go-to things, pun intended, I guess. Whenever I had the Go and I wanted to show somebody the Go, I would either put them in Dead and Buried or I would put them in Drop Dead because it looked really good on the Go. I was very impressed, and it plays pretty well on the Go as well. You're pretty much having a really good experience with Drop Dead on the Go. And then it's very good on Rift as well. It obviously looks quite a bit better on Rift, but it holds up pretty well on Go. So I was interested in playing this game primarily from the standpoint, this was a cross-buy for me because I had Drop Dead in an Oculus account, so I basically didn't have to pay for this one. But I was interested in checking this out because one of my biggest curiosities with the library of games that's coming to the Quest right now is anything that was on Go. Like, I was kind of worried about stuff that's on Go coming to the Quest because the cynical version of me would say, oh, a developer is going to be like, look, the Go had what, a Snapdragon 823 or something? I forget what the Snapdragon was that was in the Go. And the Quest has the 835, which is obviously a more advanced Snapdragon, but they're a similar family. And so you could almost see somebody saying, okay, let's just take the Go the base code for the Go version, and we'll just maybe try to make the resolution a little bit better, and we'll freaking call it a day, bro. We'll call it a day, and we'll say, yeah, this is the special duper version. This is the Dual Strike edition. It's so much better, but it's really just the Go version in disguise. That was one of my biggest worries about any game that was available on the Go that was coming to Quest. And so I went into Drop Dead, and I'm curious, is this just the Go slightly improved? And you know what? No, it isn't. It's considerably improved. It looks a lot better. In fact, it looks really close to the Rift version in a lot of ways. Like all the characters, there's more polygons. Like everything has more polygons lavished on it, and it feels pretty good. But it is a little bit like you're on rails. You are on rails in this game, and the motion is a little bit, every once in a while I felt a little wheezy as it's moving you along. But for the most part, worked really good, felt really good. Skid Row is an unquestable, and he's like, I'm out of here, bro. Only quest talk. Now I'm tired. See you later. I'm sorry, Skid Row. Apologies. But I do want to cover a couple of these quest things. Let's see. Mark Gibbs says, it's not as simple as that, Anthony, because it has to be recoded for 6 DOF. Yeah, I don't know that it would be as simple as just export as a Quest game, give it a minor resolution bump, we're all done, we're good to go. I'm sure it's a little bit more difficult than that. But anyway, bottom line is I've played a little bit of this. I'm impressed. It looks good. It plays good. I think this was one of the $15 games. And so it's nice that we have some good fast action, good playing games that work well. They've actually stepped up to the plate. Like, I will give Jason Rubin and company, I will give them credit, because they're talking about this is going to be a curated experience, and everything that is on the Quest. What was the quote that Jason Rubin has? Is like, everything on here is good or whatever. I know that everything on here is good. And they didn't want any kind of a jank that's on PC VR. And they want to have this tailored library that has been well regarded. And Drop Dead Dual Strike Edition, very good, very solid. So another recommendation. And I didn't even get to the point of trying dual wielding and any of that stuff. But Drop Dead, very good for a $15 game. Okay, so we do have a little bit of news to get into. That pretty much takes care of all of my built-in stories, which wasn't much of anything. But we do have some news stories to cover. So let's go. It's getting really hot in here too. I gotta tell you, dude, I'm having a problem. I need to get a baby fan that is whisper quiet so I can get some, because it's going to start getting hotter and hotter and hotter. I mean, this is freaking Memorial Day, brah. Getaway Friday. It is Getaway Friday, and it's going to start getting hotter and hotter, and I'm going to start getting sweaty up in here. But let's go to our webinar. And what was the story I wanted to get into? Okay, so Vacation Simulator. Here's good news. Good news, PC VR lovers. Good news for you Unquestables. Vacation Simulator, in the month of April, cracked Steam's 20 top selling games that were sold in the month, that released in April. And this is not a common thing that happens. So here's the top 20 games, in April on Steam. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, Islanders, Supraland, Vacation Simulator, there it is, a VR game up in the mix. It's up there with Paper Dolls Original, Mortal Kombat 11, Imperator. What are these games anyway? Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. I'm familiar with some of these games, but Weedcraft Incorporated, I don't know anything about these games. But I've been so far out of the mix when it comes to pancake and flat gaming. I have not been into flat gaming for so freaking long. I don't know what's going on. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. But anyway, Vacation Simulator is among the top 20. And it says here, Valve hasn't numbered the top 20 sequentially in order of revenue generated. It's in order of release date. Here's the full list of top games released this month. And they're talking about Vacation Simulator is the most successful VR game monetarily to be released in April. But it's head and shoulders above many non-VR games as well. You'll notice Vacation Simulator is the only VR game on the list. But anyway, this is good news, right? I mean, this is good news that we need to make this a regular thing. This needs to be a regular deal where we start having VR games crack the top 20. Like whatever the really big VR game is of the month, it starts to crack the top 20. I don't know if Zed is going to be able to do that in June, or maybe Trover Saves the Universe in June. I'm trying to think, what else do we have coming in June? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to kind of come at the last minute, but it would be good news if this could happen a lot more often. Vacation Simulator wasn't my favorite. I mean, it's a good game. It's a very solid game. There's nothing wrong with Vacation Simulator. I don't know. I was kind of expecting a little more from it. I still think it's pretty good. But what we could do is we could also bounce over to Road to VR, see what the latest news they got going on. Let me go ahead and give this a refresh. Okay, so they just reviewed Sport Scramble. Not going to check that out. Bonfire, they got a review for Bonfire. Actually, I'm kind of curious what they gave this review. Like, here's another, this is another experience, right? It's $10, I believe, and it says Bonfire review, Baobab's latest claims to no end, or charms to no end. It says effortlessly charming, great core interactions. The negative, more of a technical showcase than its own narrative. Oh, that's kind of cool, though, that it's a technical showcase, because I kind of like stuff like that, just because I'm curious about this stuff. Like, some people out there, I know there's some hardcore gamers that have no interest in this stuff whatsoever. Like, you couldn't pay them to check out Bonfire or Baobab or any of these kinds of things, or like 1111 or any of these kinds of experiences. I like this stuff, like spheres and stuff. Like, I would love it to get to the point where half of the time I'm playing a VR game and the other half of the time I'm having a really cool interactive media kind of experience like Bonfire, like something like this. Like, I would like it to be a situation like that. It says, Bonfire is brilliant but brief, and I wanted to explore more of the world around me and spend more time with the friends I made. Bonfire exposes Baobab to a world of deeper storytelling possibilities. With that comes huge technical challenges. So anyway, they say that it's recommended. Again, though, $10. It is $10. And will people pay the piper? Spheres was $10. This is $10. The Great Sea, I think, was like $7. And then, of course, we do have on the Oculus, like if we go to the Oculus area, there isn't a daily deal today. I was looking for a daily deal. This is the Rift Experiences. Crow the Legend, of course, is free. I wonder if that will come to Quest. But we don't have a daily deal for today. But 1111 is on sale. This is another experience that just hit $13. So very similarly priced to Bonfire. And the question is, are people going to pay the piper? Are people going to pay the money for this? Now, I know there's going to be a few people that do it, but will enough people do it that makes it actually viable? And that is a very good question. They also have like special deals where you could get like the Climb and Bonfire, or like Dance Central and Lone Echo. They're doing some of these combo packs. So that stuff is going on as well. But let's go ahead and go back over to Upload VR. Okay, so yesterday, one of the things we reported on yesterday was that the Oculus Rift S. Some people are ranting and raving, and they absolutely love the Rift S, and they feel like they've got a brand new headset that they feel like they're on Generation 2 almost. Some people really, really love it. Like Paradise Decay, he rants and raves about the Rift S. Steve from VR Roundtable, at least initially, I haven't talked to him since he's had more time with it, but he was initially very, very impressed with the Rift S. But there's other people that are having a lot of problems and a lot of difficulties. We've heard people having tracking problems. We've heard people having these blackout problems. Jim Hall, I don't know if he's in chat right now, but he had some problems just getting the Oculus software set up. Like he had to restart his computer a whole bunch of times. So, there are some problems in paradise here. But the news is that they've come up with some ideas on how you might be able to help some of the problems that you're having. And you know what? USB power management, this is always one to consider if you're having some problems. I remember back in the days when I got my original Rift, when it was the summer of Rift, and it was that big sale, and I got a Rift, and then I found out, I need an Initech USB card because I don't have enough USB ports. And then even after all of that, I still was starting to have some problems. And then somebody told me about the USB power management. Make sure to turn it off. And this is a real key, because what it says here is Windows has a feature that cuts power to USB ports it doesn't think are being used. The problem is sometimes this triggers a false positive, and it shuts down a USB port that your headset is using, or possibly one of your sensors or something like that. Of course, when it comes to the Rift S, it would just be the headset itself. But yeah, you can go ahead and do this. You can disable it. You can turn it off. And that's a great idea. Definitely go ahead and do this. Another thing it says is try every USB port. You've got all kinds of different USB ports. You got USB ports on the front. You got USB ports on the back. And I know it seems weird. That if you just move your cable to another port, now all of a sudden everything works great. But it does. It's kind of like the old turn it off and back on again trick. It kind of does. So try other USB ports. Reseat the cable. While it may seem hard to believe, some issues are just caused by the cable being loose. This can either be on the PC end. I love this whole reseat the cable. Basically, unplug it and plug that bitch back in. But now we have a word for that. It's called reseat. Reseat the cable. Okay. I used to call it unplug that bitch and plug it back in. But now they have a better word for it. Okay, repair the Oculus software. This is actually what I told Jim Hall when Jim Hall was having problems. Like he had installed all his Oculus software, and he was like, the Rift S is not working. I'm not getting anything out of it. I told him, one of the easiest things you can do is freaking delete all the Oculus software that's on there and just download it again and install it again. I know it's a pain in the ass. You can also go to the repair. You can click on repair and try that. But if that doesn't work, I say delete the whole freaking thing. And then when it goes really bad, and this is what everybody dreads, but when it goes really, really bad, that's when you freaking wipe your entire PC and you reload Windows and all of that. And I'm telling you, dude, it's got to be DEFCON 5 for me to go down that road. I do not want to reinstall. I still haven't reinstalled Windows since getting a new PC. And there's people that think I am batshit insane to be using the same version of Windows that was on my previous PC, that was on my SSD that I had in a previous PC, and I'm using it on this new PC. And some people think I am crazy. Like, you got a new PC, man. Refresh everything, delete everything, start over from scratch. But for me, I only do that when it is worst case scenario, because I just got so much crap in so many different places, and it's just every time I completely wipe it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's nice to have a brand new PC, brand new install of Windows. It usually solves a lot of problems. It really does. But I feel like there's always a couple of things here or there that I forgot to somehow back up or save, and I hate doing that. But yeah, there are some fixes out there, or there's some things that you can try for your Oculus Rift S if you're having problems with your Rift S. Let me look at chat and see what some people are talking about here. Let's see what some folks are talking about in chat. Okay, Paradise Decay says, Jim sorted it after reinstalling Steam and Oculus. Yeah, God, it sucks. It sucks to have to do that, but sometimes you have to do it. Dear Sophie, a big Rift S fan here. And dear Sophie, didn't you order a reverb? Did you get your reverb? Like, what happened with your reverb order? Because I think dear Sophie ordered a reverb. Did they send you an email? Like, when are they going to send you more of them? Because I want to buy a reverb. But anyway, she's a big Rift S fan, and I think she ordered like a Valve Index. So dear Sophie is somebody that got bit by the VR bug, and she is a freaking VR addict. She went straight down the rabbit hole. She is all in. She's buying every VR thing known to man, and she's having good success with her Rift S. So that's good news. Glad to hear that. Reckoner VR, Gary, is checking in. He says, hello all, I've been watching the show for the past 30 minutes while playing Elite Dangerous in the Rift S. How are the blacks, Gary? Are you able, like, what's the trade-off like between the blacks, but then also having so much clearer menus and text, and all of that is so much clearer, but you are suffering a little bit with your blacks and like the space backdrop and that stuff. I'm sure we'll find out all about that this Sunday when we have our next VR Roundtable episode. It's going to be a very interesting episode. It's probably going to be an epically long episode because Gary and Steve are going to have an awful lot to say about the Rift S, maybe even Chris. I might get the Rift S prior to that episode, so I might have some stuff to say about that as well. And then we've got all the Oculus Quest stuff to talk about as well. So it's going to be an epic VR Roundtable episode this Sunday. So definitely look forward to that on Sunday. C's B. Cousin says, I returned the Rift S. The tracking was better in the Oculus CV1. I want the best tracking for a tethered VR headset. Okay, so what I wonder about C's is, are you like an Onward guy? Are you a Pavlov guy? You know, are you a Standout guy? Are you a War Desk guy? Contractors, etc., etc.? Because I do know, see, the thing is, if you're really, really, really into those games, and so I'm curious about like Rendered Reality, like the two guys from Rendered Reality, Sean and Tyler. I'm curious to hear their, after they've been playing like Contractors and Pavlov and Onward and Standout and all of that, because if they're using their Pro Tubes or whatever and they're trying to put their hands up by their face, you know, some people are like, oh, dude, this tracking, no, it's not working. That's kind of why I like the fact that I still have my regular Oculus Rift here, because I haven't sold it. Like, some people sold their stuff in advance, and you're taking a bit of a risk if you sell it in advance and you think that the Rift S is just going to solve all your problems and everything's going to be perfect. And maybe it will, and hopefully it will, but if it isn't, then you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have sold my Rift, my original Rift. So, you know, people are going to be back and forth on this, I'm sure. Most, like me, as a gamer, as a VR gamer, I won't have a problem with the tracking because those aren't my kinds of games. You know, I'm not playing Echo Arena and Echo Combat, and I'm not using, you know, freaking Pro Tubes and things like that. So it's not a big deal. I play, like, those aren't really my kind of games. So I don't think the Rift S, I don't think I'd have problems with the tracking. I mean, when I tried it at GDC, it seemed flawless to me. It's got 5 cameras. Oh, other people are having problems, though, with the lighting. So, see, some people are having problems with the lighting because you do have to add more light. And then there's also these things called IR blasters. Actually, why don't we look that up? What the hell is an IR blaster, by the way? I've been noticing people have been, that's something I should add on my Amazon links for people to buy. IR blaster. IR blaster. Okay, so there's these things called IR blasters that like send out more IR or something, but I don't think, the one that I saw looked like IR blaster VR. Let's try IR Blaster VR. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. Images. Yeah, I saw some people are using this thing where it'll help it like if you're in the dark or whatever. But there's like these IR Blaster things, but I'm not seeing exactly what other people are showing on Reddit. But yeah, there's all kinds of weird solutions out there that people are looking into. Let's see what some other folks are saying. VR Spry Guy says, the screen on the Rift S is good. Not much more I like about it, though I have spent almost no time with it. Hussein X says, my Rift S controllers are sticky sometimes. I let go of the grip, but there is sometimes a delay. Same with the thumbsticks. Plus, mic sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. USB power management off. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I think it wasn't the Reverb that has a really, really good mic, like maybe the best mic ever. Like that's another little bonus for the Reverb. I think I remember that from somebody's review of the Reverb. Oh, an infrared lamp. Okay, an infrared lamp. Okay, let's try looking that up. Infrared lamp. Infrared lamp. Yeah, so what this does, oh, weird. Yeah, something like this. Or I wonder, no, these are like heat lamps though. Infrared IR, let me try throwing IR Blaster in there as well. Infrared lamp, IR Blaster, maybe like something like this. I don't know, but I know people are using some kind of weird little devices that shoot out a bunch of shit into your environment, but you can still have it kind of dark. So, you know, there's some different things that people are doing to try to get around that. But yeah, some people were having problems with the lighting. And I was trying to explain, I was telling this one guy, I was like, well, try it in a really well-lit room, because then at least you can know if that's the problem or not. Because this guy was like, well, you know, there's not a lot of light in my room, but there should be enough for it to work. Recycled says, IR Blaster is just what they call the infrared transceiver, but it's infrared light, of course. Yeah, so IR Illuminator. Okay, maybe that's what we should be looking for. IR Illuminator. Yeah, it's crazy, though, how these weird little products... Illuminator. There we go. IR Illuminator. It's crazy how these weird little products come out of the blue. Yeah, this is what I saw. It was something like this. This was the thing. And this is on Amazon, guys. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm going to have a link for you in case you want to order this. I can get 2 cents from your order. So yeah, it's, you know, $12. CMV vision, wide angle IR. Oh, okay. Daytime, night vision. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So that might allow you to continue to use your equipment there in the dark pretty much and still get decent performance if it works like that. So yeah, $12. So not too much for that. So that's not too bad. Okay, but anyways, we'll go back here and check out some more information. Oh, you know what? There is some PlayStation VR news, actually. Let's go back over to Road to VR. There's been some talk about PlayStation VR, like next-gen PlayStation VR and stuff like that. Okay, so this was at the Collision 2019 conference in Toronto. And Sony Interactive Entertainment's Vice President of Research and Development, Dominic Mallinson, was there. And he was talking about how there needs to be certain must-have evolutionary improvements for future VR headsets. Now, here's the thing. He was not talking about PlayStation VR 2. He was talking about VR in general. But because this guy is on the inside, this guy is, you know, he knows what Sony is internally doing for like if PSVR 2 currently exists right now, this guy knows about it intimately. And so he's talking about general VR things in this discussion. And it was kind of interesting to see some of the things he's talked about. One of the major things that he mentioned is high dynamic range. And he's saying that this is an absolute must-have in the future of VR headsets. And one of the nice things about high dynamic range, do you guys remember we were talking about the Valve Index, and we were talking about some of the stuff that the Valve technicians were talking about. They were working on a VR headset that featured high dynamic range, and ultimately they had to let it go. Ultimately, they had to say, you know what? We really, 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 really would like to have high dynamic range in the Valve Index, but we can't do it. Maybe the next headset. They said it was very, very disappointing when they had to give up on high dynamic range, that it was really a major game changer. And so the good news for us, though, is Sony's got skills, man. Sony is legit. Like, do not sleep on Sony. When Sony has a legitimate PlayStation VR 2, they are going to come to play. Like, I would not underestimate what Sony has, because Sony, this is their bag. This is what they do, man. Sony's not going to let somebody come in and take their lunch. So the hope is that the next PSVR headset actually has HDR. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine, but again, I don't think we're going to get PSVR 2 until November of 2021. So it's still a ways away. It's a ways away. Maybe they'll be able to get HDR in there. I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be expensive, but maybe they can get HDR in there. So anyway, this article says, though HDR isn't in any headsets today, Sony set a precedent for surprising the industry with its VR display tech. The current PSVR is the only consumer headset using an RGB OLED display. See, that's the thing. Sony is a little bit different like that. And Sony has a major investment in, JDI? The company that makes these like really high-end screens. Like, Sony's one of the major people that are involved in that. It also was the only headset capable of 120 hertz refresh rate, which hasn't been matched until 3 years later when the Valve Index finally comes out. Even though there's only 2 games that run natively at 120 hertz, Chorix and Polybius are the only 2 PlayStation VR games that do run natively at 120 hertz. Now, he says, more obvious than HDR, Mallison also said he expects resolution and field of view to increase. Now, he says that he believes the field of view should increase to 120 degrees. That isn't very much. That isn't very much at all. Like, bumping it up to 120, like, aren't we at 110 right now? So 120 is basically just getting your eyeballs closer to the screen. So that's not much of a bump in field of view. But he was talking that the resolution should basically double. That where the resolution is at right now, the resolution should basically double. And then, of course, they're talking about wireless. Being tethered to the cable is inconvenient. And it's not just about getting tangled up in the cable. It's not just about the restriction in your motion, he said. It's about how you set things up, how you configure the system, where you store it. Let's face it, having a mess of cables in your living space is just not attractive. Yeah, dude, the wife, what is it called? The wife appreciation factor or whatever. There's like this phrase that people use. It's basically like, will your wife deal with it factor. I forget what they call it. But they would always talk about that on the AVS forums. Like, if you're going to buy this TV or you're going to buy these speakers or whatever, it's like you got to get it past the wife. Like, is the wife going to go for it? And like, I've moved my PlayStation VR. There's been times where I've taken my PlayStation VR and I brought it into the living room and set it up in the living room and like said, okay, I'm going to keep it in the living room for a little while because that way I could be closer to the family and maybe they could play a little bit of PSVR and all that stuff. And my wife was like, what are you going to do with all those wires? Like, what are you going to do with all those wires? And I didn't have an answer for her. Dude, wires are a problem. That's why the Quest is so beautiful. Look over there, guys. Do you see that? Do you see any wires? On my big ass speaker, there's a Quest and there's 2 controllers, and that's it. There's nothing else. That's why the Quest is such a game changer. And I truly believe that when we get to Quest number 2, I truly believe that the Quest number 2, you're not even going to need to have a controller. Now, if you want to play a real game, you're going to want to have a controller, but you're going to be able to put on Quest number 2 and your hands are going to be there, baby. And so if you just want to go into Netflix, or if you just want to do Crow the Legend or something like that, and you don't need a serious controller, it's going to have built-in hand tracking right from Jump Street. So there's going to be so you could have a headset that is just sitting there and you don't have no controllers or nothing. That's all there is. And it's just going to be put it on. It instantly turns on. It sees your hand. You can get into Netflix. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, there's that. But no, it's like the wife appreciation factor, or maybe it's the wife acceptance factor. Yeah, it's WAF. And I didn't know if it was appreciation or acceptance. Yeah, the WAF. Yeah, it's a real thing. Trust me. They talk about it all day long over there at AVS Forums. They absolutely talk about the wife appreciation factor because, dude, yeah, unhappy wife, it's an unhappy life. Like, it's going to be hell on wheels. That's why they came up with that term, happy wife, happy life. If you make your wife happy, then at least she's out of your hair is pretty much what it really translates to. And Caleb Law says, hopefully the Quest 2 has voice commands. You know what? We haven't done question of the day in a while. And let me throw a question of the day out there. This is a question I was thinking about yesterday, actually. And so this is for all of the Oculus Quest owners out there right now, or Oculus Quest owners that are coming up in the very near future. The question is, all this software that you're buying right now, do you believe that it is going to transfer to the Quest 2? Is all the software that you're, like Vader Immortal, is that going to transfer to Quest 2? Or are you going to have to re-buy your software on the Quest 2? And look, I know this is like, why are we asking this question right now? We're not going to see the Quest 2 in 2020. We're probably not even going to see the Quest 2 in 2021. The Quest 2 might be like spring of 2022. So the Quest 2 is off in the distance, but you better believe it. The Quest 2, they're working on it right now. They are working on the Quest 2 right now. And the Quest 2 is going to be that much better than what we have right now. I mean, we're talking Snapdragon 855. We're talking additional cameras. There's going to be no blind spots. Better distribution of weight, lower grams, all those things, man. Quest 2 is going to be awesome. No wife, more waifu. That's a good one. Oliver D there. But no, what I'm talking about on the Quest 2, do you think your games are going to transfer over? Because maybe we should yell about that and ask about that and raise a stink about that right now, because Oculus, in the high of releasing a Quest and wanting everything to be fun and everybody to be happy, they'll be like, yeah, all your stuff is going to transfer. And then a couple of years from now, they're going to be like, damn it, why did we tell people that all your stuff is going to transfer? We could have freaking milked them and had them buy everything over again. So I don't know. It's just a question. Do you believe your Quest stuff is going to transfer to the next Quest? I kind of believe it will, because I believe it's going to be a Snapdragon. And you would think a much more advanced Snapdragon should be backwards compatible with the 835. I mean, it should be able to run that kind of code basically identically. The only thing, there could be certain things about the Quest 2 that could break Quest 1 games, like with the different cameras and like they could say, well, we really wanted to make all of your games backwardly compatible, but the problem is the Quest 2 features 7 cameras and the 7 camera tracking system is completely incompatible. So unfortunately, you're going to have to rebuy everything from scratch. I don't know that I would be shocked if that was the way it went either. And honestly, it's a question for like some future scenario, so we don't really need to worry about it. But I was just thinking about it. I was wondering if it might be a problem. Okay, so anyway, we've been running for an hour here, and I'm pretty much out of gas at this point. So I think I'm going to have to bounce out of here. I do want to kind of apologize. I didn't play as many Quest games. I wanted to play Apex Construct, didn't do that. Wanted to play Creed, didn't do that. I wanted to try Virtual Desktop, didn't do that. So guess what, guys? Tomorrow, it's a whole bunch more of Questmas. On the 4th day of Questmas, my true love gave to me Apex Construct, yeah. So it's going to be some more Quest talk on Saturday's episode. So all of you Unquestables, damn it, you're going to have to suffer a little more, guys. It is the reality. But yeah, that's basically going to go ahead and wrap it up for this particular episode of VR365. But right before we bounce out of here, I just wanted to give a thank you one more time to Patreon supporter Sergio Landiera Garcia. Thank you so much for supporting our show, for supporting VR365, for supporting VR game rankings as well. Yeah, you know, there's probably some new subscribers and new people that have been jumping on this show recently, and you might not know about VR game rankings. VR game rankings is a website. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of help. But understand this, there's really only one person working on it, and that person has a job and is also doing this YouTube show and is working on the website in his spare time. So I think give me a little bit of a break as far as that goes. But yeah, if you support Patreon, PayPal, you're supporting VR365, but you're also supporting VR Game Rankings. And that's huge because we need all the help we can get in both of these categories. And thank you so much, Sergio Landera Garcia. I absolutely appreciate it. Huge, absolutely huge. The support is huge. I can't say enough about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the hell out of Dodge here. I'm just going to throw on my little logo on the screen. And that's going to go ahead and do it. So remember, hit the like button on your way out. If you're brand new, go ahead and subscribe to the show. It's not that bad. We show up once a day with these streams, 365. You know, VR365, the logo's right there. VR gaming news and discussion 365 days a year. Can you believe this? I've never missed an episode. I've never missed an episode. I've done like 300 episodes in a row. I've never taken a day off. Oh, no, that's not exactly true. Yeah, no, I put a little asterisk. There should be a little asterisk by our logo. It's VR Gaming News and Discussion 365 days a year. Give or take 27 days. That's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, man, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the show. And remember, do you need something on Amazon? Click on one of those links. You got to be USA. But if you're ordering yourself an Oculus Rift, if you're ordering yourself an Oculus Quest, if you want the official Quest case, or if you want those Mantis little headphone attachment thingies for your Rift S, if you're buying them from Amazon anyway, look, if you're buying them from some other place, you got a better deal, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you're buying it from Amazon anyway, you might as well click on my link. That way you're also donating to VR365, which makes it much more likely that I can pay $3,000 for a Valve Index to a scalper. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I will be back on Saturday at 12 noon. I'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful Friday. It's Getaway Friday, guys. How's the traffic on the 405? Getaway Friday, baby. Are you in your cars right now? How's the traffic on that I-5 interchange? All right, folks, I'm out of here. We'll see you. Take it easy. Later.